I don't know if you guys have kept up with John Virgili, but there was this game that John Virgili played with the Spanish national team under 19 that really made me inspired to make this video, because in that game John Virgili was amazing. But let me start off with this. John Virgili is only 19 years old and he is a Spanish winger who just played for Barca Athletic. He has played 17 matches so far with 4 goals in the 4th tier, simply just too good to be in that level of the league. Once again, he represents the Spanish under 19 national team and he scored an amazing goal at the Maracanã in the under 20 Intercontinental Cup final. Now unfortunately, Flamengo won 6-5 on penalties, but in that final versus Flamengo, Virgili scored a banger, created multiple chances, he hit the post, and he was named man of the match. There were so many clips that went viral, and because of this performance, Barcelona are taking notice again. But here's the thing, Barcelona value John Virgili, but they don't see him ready for consistent first team action. Hansi Flick said that, I want to have John Virgili as an option. Maybe he could have first team minutes, but as of now, I don't want him in the first team. He wasn't even in the preseason. But as we can see, he's just too good for the 4th division as well. But there's no space above him right now, which makes this a very complicated situation. So do we extend the player and then loan him out, or do we sell him with a buyback clause? I remember back on July 2025, Flick left him off of the Asia Tour squad, and John Virgili was frustrated. I'm talking about, he was so frustrated that he was willing to leave because he wanted that step up. He felt like he earned it. He felt like he needed to be in first division football, and that is why Mallorca and Almeria have made offers for the left winger. But Barcelona only wanted to sell for 4 million euros plus a 50% future clause plus buyback clause. So let's just say, for example, Barcelona sell the player. He goes to Mallorca. He ends up performing very well. He scores 10 goals, provides 17 assists, and then he goes to Liverpool, for example, and he gets sold for 30 million euros. Barcelona want to have 50% of that 30 million euros. Or let's just say that Mallorca have John Virgili at 25 million euros, but the buyback clause that Barcelona want is 15 million euros. That is what Barcelona want to do if they let him go. So Barcelona were unhappy with Virgili's attitude because they want him to embrace the La Masia path through Barca Athletic, just like Pedri did, just like Gavi did, and just like Yamal did. Now here's the thing, John Virgili is 19. Pedri started in the first team when he was 16. Gavi, 16, almost turning 17 years old, and Yamal at the age of 15, 16 years old. I can understand why John Virgili might be doing some comparisons, because he's like, look, I'm 19 years old. All of my friends like Gavi, Pedri, Yamal, and all of these other youngsters started very early in the first team. Why can't I get the exact same chance? And after the Flamengo final, he also had an interview and he was explaining that, it's unfortunate that we lost in penalties, but that's football. We're going to continue to fight. As for me going back to Barca Athletic, I want to go to the first team. I'm just going to continue to fight to convince Hansi Flick. He also stated that he does very much look up to a player like Neymar, and that is who he does want to emulate, kind of like Lamine Yamal. But you can definitely notice a shift in attitude and performance from John Virgili, and Barcelona are rethinking, so they might extend his contract past 2027 because his current contract does expire in 2027. They can also raise his release clause past 4 million euros, maybe to 10 million euros. They might loan him out to second division or another club in La Liga, or they might finalize a sale with a buyback clause. There's many things that Barcelona can do here, but I really do think, in my own opinion, that Barcelona should have John Virgili in the first team, because when I look at the past season, Barcelona did struggle massively on the left. I understand that somebody like Rafinha was doing phenomenal numbers, scoring a goal every other game, providing an assist every 80 to 85 minutes. But all in all, on the left flank in general, Barcelona missed a lot of things. Sometimes we saw Balde injured and we lacked the 1v1 dribbler. We saw Gerard Martin come in. Even though defensively he was amazing, he's not explosive enough. Rafinha was sometimes too central, not giving out much in terms of 1v1 dribbling like a Luis Diaz or Nico Williams type of player. We had to really depend on his runs behind the defensive line of the opposition. Ferran Torres and Dani Olmo sometimes also went on the left wing position, but it's not the same compared to having a player like Rafinha, nor do they truly have that big explosiveness that true wingers do carry, and Ansu Fati was barely involved in that season. Hence the reason why I think that John Virgili can really help Barcelona for this season, because nothing has really changed for the attack. Yes, we have Marcus Rashford, but it is going to be taking some time to integrate him into this Barcelona system. John Virgili knows what it's like to play within a Barcelona system. When I look back at Hansi Flick making those decisions a few weeks ago, stating, should I bring in somebody like Marcus Rashford or bet on a player like John Virgili, I really do think that sportingly John Virgili would have made more sense. But the reason why he went for Marcus Rashford is because Flick needed more experience up top, somebody who has played first division football over the past 5 to 6 years. And for a coach like Flick, who really does rely on youngsters and bets on youngsters and wants to improve them, I'm honestly surprised that Flick made the decision to say that John Virgili is not good enough for first division football and that he should just stay in 4th division football. at the age of just 19 years old. But going back to that previous season, I mean, like, there was a reason why Barcelona relied heavily on Lamine Yamal on the right side in terms of like take-on abilities. It is because we did not really have a 1v1 world-class dribbler on the left, and that became a huge predictability for Barcelona in big games, and especially in the Champions League nights. This is part of the reason why Deco tried to sign Luis Diaz from Liverpool, is because he's fast, he's left-footed and also right-footed, he's direct in 1v1s, a top dribbler. It would perfectly balance with Lamine Yamal, and Barcelona were ready to pay 60 to 70 million euros, but Liverpool held firm. They wanted more than that. Now look at where Luis Diaz is at today with Bayern Munich. He's doing exactly as he should, bringing results to Bayern Munich. He's amazing. For context, Luis Diaz averages 4 progressive carries per 90 minutes, while Rafinha does 3.50, and you have Ferran Torres at 2.8, and Ansu Fati at 2.0. Clearly, Deco is looking at Luis Diaz as a clear upgrade on the left flank, where even if Balde does get injured, you're not going to lose the 1v1 dribbling. So going back to John Virgili, I look at John Virgili and I say he's very much like a Luis Diaz profile. Not in terms of level. I'm not saying that John Virgili is as good as a Nico Williams or a Luis Diaz or a Doku. I'm not saying that. John Virgili, profile-wise, is the exact same player. John Virgili is naturally left-footed. He can also use his right. That is why we do see him shift on the right-wing position to the left-wing position, but he's also explosive. He scores goals. He beats players. He creates danger. He's very comfortable in tight situations. And once again, he's already in the system. So I think that Barcelona must decide fast. I do think that it would be a huge mistake to let a talent like him walk too soon. Look at what happened with Abde. Abde had the whole future ahead of him, and now I barely hear his name. Hansi Flick likes the youth, but he wants discipline. He wants tactical maturity. So maybe I could understand why John Virgili is not being eyed on right now, but this game has to show us something. It has to show Barcelona something. And that is why us as fans are watching closely. Could Virgili's situation at the club change within the coming weeks? And let me ask you guys this. Do you guys see John Virgili as an answer to Barcelona's left wing problem? Because for now, Flick does not see it in that way. There's a reason why Rooney Barney is with the first team, even though he never played at Barcelona before. The reason why he's in the first team and why he is being the backup to Lamine Yamal is because he played first division football. Hansi Flick is somebody who likes to look at players from out there in Europe and say, has he played in first division football and is he good enough? Hence the reason why Rashford, Rooney Barney have been picked. But as for John Virgili, it's a different situation. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.